watched the inauguration so you don't have to. In fact, I was so determined that even though my power went out, I got out the old pen and paper and took notes for you guys. And boy am I glad I did, because as much as I think we all just want to tune out and take deep breaths, which you should also do today, some of the stuff he said was genuinely harrowing. So when you're ready to hear it, here is a summary of the most concerning things he said during his speech. The big overall tone of the speech was that America is about to enter its golden age. He talked smack right in front of Biden and Clinton and Bush and all of these former US presidents, Obama, calling the government a radical and corrupt establishment, and attacked their handling of the North Carolina hurricane, the LA wildfires, saying that they didn't even have a token of defense there. And he said chilling things like America's decline is over and he is going to restore the loyalty of the American government. Keep in mind that he's saying all of this while surrounded by some of the wealthiest people in the United States of America. So it makes you wonder about whose loyalty is going to be rewarded and what that looks like. Like here we've got Elon Musk, that is the Google CEO, and over there you can just see the side of Jeff Bezos's head, and Mark Zuckerberg was hidden behind Ivanka, but he was there too. So before he really dove in and told us about all the executive orders he's planning to enact today, he said that his life was saved for a reason. It was saved by God to, quote, make America great again. He also said that January 20th, 2025 is Liberation Day, and that he wants his election to be remembered as the greatest and most consequential in US history. And then he detailed plans that are certainly consequential, but I don't think I would call them great. For example, he started off by saying he's going to declare a national emergency at the southern border. And part of that includes returning, quote, millions and millions to where they came from.
All illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came.
To translate that, that means mass deportations. He's also sending troops to the border and is designating cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and is using the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to eliminate foreign gangs. It's a strange choice of legislation to pull out in this context, because while it does allow for the expedited deportation of non-US citizens based on nothing other than their nationality also has to be from a country that the US is at war with for the law to apply. So unless Trump, who in the same speech said he is going to stop all wars, is going to use his power to start a bunch, then this legislation wouldn't really apply in the context of deportations or anything else. Anyways, then he moves on from railing about immigrants and the border to talking about inflation and cost of living. He basically just vaguely says he's going to marshal cabinet to bring down inflation, and he blames inflation on government spending and the cost of energy, which is missing a ton of context for why inflation has gotten so bad around the world in recent years. Supply chain issues, the pandemic. Although I guess if you're planning to hit the world with tariffs, acknowledging existing supply chain issues as a contributor to inflation is kind of counterintuitive. But anyways, so he uses this as an excuse to then go in on how much oil and gas the US is gonna start extracting. He says, drill, baby, drill.
We'll also declare a national energy emergency. We will drill, baby, drill.
He says he's going to end both the Green New Deal and the electric vehicle mandate. Uh-oh, Elon, did you know he was going to do that? And he also brought up his promise to impose tariffs on other countries, including stating that he's going to establish an external revenue service to collect all of that foreign money, which kind of leaves out the part that the importer usually ends up paying for the tariffs through an increased cost of goods, but I digress. He then gave a shout out to DOGE, or the Department of Government Efficiency, and went on to say he plans to sign an executive order to immediately stop all government censorship and, quote, bring back free speech to America. He also said the justice system is going to be restored to be fair, equal, and impartial. Oh, does that mean he's going to tell his buddy Elon to stop abusing the courts to try to punish people for their free speech, including his critics? Or is that not part of all of this? Anyways, then Trump goes on to say he's going to stop the, quote, government effort to
socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life.
And this is where he vomits out one of the more harrowing parts of his entire speech, and that's saying something. He says it will be official government policy policy that there are only two genders.
As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Whether Trump says BS like this or not, trans people are going to exist. Intersex people are going to exist. There are going to be people who identify as different genders because gender is an identity and sex is a more biological thing. The fact that he doesn't know the difference is an immediate sign that he shouldn't be creating official policy on this stuff. This is literally just cruel, but it seems to be the kind of administration that the Americans are headed for. Trump also talked about the importance of society being merit-based now.
We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based.
Which I would love to hear his definition of when you look at the kinds of people he's appointing to his cabinet. But it's genuinely wild when you live in a country where at the same time as slavery was made illegal, panhandling and homelessness were made illegal, so people were freed from plantations and immediately rounded up and put into jails, where that was the only place where someone could be forced to work for no pay. In a society where this kind of inequality is baked into the social and policy fabric, you actually have to kind of force people to be fair. If you truly want a society to be merit-based when it's got these kinds of systems that entrench and ingrain inequality in subconscious ways in people's decision-making, you sometimes need policy to actually even out the playing field and make sure the best candidates always get the best positions. Otherwise, society could end up run by nepo babies and totally unqualified people who are just friends with the powerful, and we wouldn't want that, would we? Moving on, he's also reinstating people to the military who refuse to take the COVID vaccine, and he's giving them back pay. He said America is going to build the strongest military the world has ever seen. And it sure sounds like he's already got some pretty unhinged plans for them. Because not only is he changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, but he talked about the Panama Canal and said, quote,
"We didn't give it to China, we gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back."
How you gonna do that, Donald? Are they just gonna give it to you? He also talked about America expanding its territory, using the term manifest destiny, which, for the record, is the idea that it is America's right and destiny to expand across all of North America, and this included Canada. So that's reassuring. But he also talked about expanding to Mars, so, okay. Anyways, after he said that they're going to stop all wars, right after detailing a lot of stuff that sounds like it could start them, Trump reiterated that their golden age has just begun. But he also said one thing that really stuck with me. He said that in America, the impossible is what we do best. And I actually hope he's right about that. Because when you see this guy stand up there and detail policies that will hurt so many people, hurt immigrants, hurt trans people, hurt racialized people, and you watch Joe Biden clap at the end of that speech, which was delivered while flanked by the richest men in the country, it's easy to feel like staying hopeful and staying strong in the face of all of this is impossible. But if it's true that in America, what you do best is the impossible, then I'm really excited to see how, in the face of all of this, you guys take care of each other, push back, and defend your democracy. What do you think of all this?